Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm a speech language pathologist turned homeschool mom to 2 boys. We just finished up kindergarten and 2nd grade, and this is my end of year review for all the curriculum we used, some that we DNF'd, and everything in between. So let's get started with the family subjects, and then I'll go to my 2nd graders curriculum and then my kindergartners curriculum. So first we'll start with a hit for us. This was our science curriculum. It was Wonders of the Plant and Fungi Kingdoms from Blossom and Root. This is a year 2 science curriculum. It's very Charlotte Mason based with lots of read alouds, lots of hands-on laboratory experiments. There's also videos that are recommended. It's a year-long, basically a botany curriculum that covers the plant kingdom, and then at the end of the curriculum is the fungi kingdom. But I love Blossom and Root. It goes very in-depth, almost a little too in-depth at some points. Like, it's a year-long curriculum all about plants and fungi, but my boys loved it. I learned a lot, they learned a lot. It was a hit for us. Now the next curriculum is also from Blossom and Root. Our art curriculum was Art and the History of Me. This was a level 0 curriculum. I needed something to hold my hand with art this year, and this worked pretty well for basically like half to maybe 2/3 of the year. We stuck to the curriculum pretty well, but then I got a little tired of it, having to go and get like specific supplies that I didn't have around my house, and getting the read alouds and talking about the artists that we were learning about that month. It just got a little old for me. So we did DNF this curriculum. We got about halfway, 2/3 of the way, but it was good. It just wasn't for us. So to go along with the art curriculum, we also DNF'd the History of Me curriculum. We only got maybe 1/3 of the way through the History of Me portion of this curriculum, and it honestly was because I forgot about it. I completely forgot about the History of Me curriculum. This was their little History of Me notebook, and in theory, it sounded really cute and really fun to like interview people from your family and talk about where you're from and like where your parents grew up and all that fun stuff. But in theory it sounded wonderful, but I forgot about it. And you know, that I kind of think speaks for the curriculum. If you forget about something to do, then it must not be fitting your family the best. So yeah, Art and the History of Me, it's a Blossom and Root level 0 curriculum. We DNF'd both parts of this curriculum. Next up, we'll talk about our History, Bible, and Literature. We used SONLIGHT. This was level A, Exploring American History. So I'll start off by saying that I liked the scheduling of this. It has a week-by-week schedule that you can use that made it held my hand. It gave me what to do each day. Honestly, we got ahead in the literature because my kids are the type that are like they want another chapter, and they really enjoy literature and hearing the story unfold. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the history. So HBL. The history was okay. It was okay. There were some hits for us and some definite misses, and also each child had a different experience with it. The main textbook, if you will, are these two, and my older child did great with them. My younger child, it was too much information. So what we did was I looked at the back of each little hero and happening. So for example, Christopher Columbus, I believe this was. Yeah, Christopher Columbus the sailor, at the end of his little blurb, little 5-page, 4-page spread, there was this box that had extra book recommendations, and these are picture books. And what I did was, from my library, I picked up one book just one book, and read that in replacement of this whole layout. But my older child, my second grader, he did love reading these, and actually these I had to get from his room because he's actually spent time rereading them and looking through the pictures and the pages. So my second grader loved these, my kindergartner, not so much. So those were like the textbook, if you will, but there were also picture books that were included in the HBL package. These were the picture books included. We loved all of them except for these two. These were very cartoonish. The illustrations were like making fun of the pioneers and the Native Americans and the soldiers. It just, whoever illustrated these, you need to not be an illustrator. But the rest of the books were wonderfully done. The Bible that came with the packet, it is this one, the 1 year Bible for children. The schedule that the Sonlight curriculum wants you to use for this was way too much. It had like 3 or 4 days sometimes wanting you to read from this book. I chose to simplify things, and we just did 1 day at a time, and we worked our way through the New Testament because that's where we read the Old Testament my oldest son's kindergarten and first grade year. So this year we did the New Testament, and it worked out really well for us. But yeah, the schedule that Sonlight has for this is way too fast. It also came with a CD with songs, but we didn't use that. And it did also recommend scripture memorization, which we did most of the year, but not all of the year. So we've talked about our history, we've talked about our Bible, and now let's talk about our literature, which my boys, like I said earlier, it was their favorite. This is not even all the books for literature. My children have some of their favorites in their room, like Adventures of a South Pole Pig and Little House in the Big Woods, and a few others. And I have definitely had to buy the second book in the series and the third book. We bought the Humphrey books, we bought the incomplete Little House on the Prairie series, and some of the Boxcar Children books as well. So a lot of good literature from this curriculum. It was definitely a hit for us. And this curriculum also came with level 2 readers. These aren't even all the readers it came with, because again, my oldest child has he has them in his room, but these were all great readers and a hit for us. Now, our last family subject was our Spanish curriculum. We were honestly just finishing up Beautiful Mundo level 1. My son had like a workbook to do. I would honestly not recommend Beautiful Mundo level 1 unless you as the parent speak fluent Spanish. I needed way more hand holding. I've talked about it in other videos. It was a miss for us, but we finished it out, but we are definitely transitioning to a different curriculum that is much more teacher friendly, and we've already completed 5 of the lessons, maybe 4 of the lessons, and my boys are enjoying it much more. It is actually, you can see it back up there. It is the Homeschool Languages Spanish level 1. So we're liking that so far. And I think that wraps up our family subjects. Now let's get into my second grader's subjects that he just finished. My second grader did have this little drawing book because he asked to draw, and he did do some of the drawings. This is from The Good and the Beautiful. Yeah, he did some of the drawings and enjoyed that. He also finished his Handwriting Without Tears handwriting book. I don't have that here. I don't know what happened to it. Probably on my shelves in the other room, but that went well. And for math, we just finished up Singapore Dimensions level 2B. He also this year completed level 2A. My review on this is that I really like this curriculum. I think it's very intensive. It has chapters, so each chapter you master it, but then there's reviews for spiraling. It works really well for us. Is it a lot of work? Yes. This math program is a lot, and it takes probably an hour a day, and it is intensive, and it is hard, and it makes you think, and it works for us. If you didn't have a lot of time as the teacher, I wouldn't recommend this. This is very teacher intensive and student intensive, but I think it's a great math program. And for my second graders language arts curriculum, we have the Good and the Beautiful Level 2. This is an all-in-one curriculum. It does really get the job done. My son loves to read, and he reads a lot outside of schoolwork, and this just kind of helps reinforce the grammar and the punctuation and you know what, I was about to say spelling, but I don't actually like how it teaches spelling. We're actually going to add on a spelling curriculum next year. So yeah, this curriculum, if there's one thing I don't like about it, it doesn't have as much spelling as I would like to see, but it is great at teaching the phonics principles and the grammar and punctuation principles. Yeah, and we probably in a later year, I'm gonna have to add on more writing as well, because it does have him do some writing here and there, but not as much as I would like. But I'm not gonna add a writing curriculum next year, probably in 4th grade. And moving on to my kindergartner, he did finish his Handwriting Without Tears curriculum. I think he did like the purple one. I think he did the purple one. And then for math, he did Singapore Dimensions, KB. He also earlier did in the school year did KA. I love Singapore Dimensions. My kindergartner, math comes very, very easily to him. And I truly think it's because we started the preschool version of this curriculum. It was the PKA and the PKB. And math has just really like, I just can hand this to him and he intuitively knows what to do and the concepts. I love this curriculum. It worked really well for him, and I think this is a great kindergarten curriculum. Now the 1st grade curriculum, it's gonna get more intense for him, so stay tuned to see how he does with the 1st grade curriculum, because especially 1B, that's a tough curriculum. And finally, for my kindergartners language arts curriculum, we use the Good and the Beautiful Level K. This is their old, outdated curriculum. It got the job done. We are actually still working on the readers every single day during summer. So we're just taking our time with the readers because I really want him to have a good foundation. And the phonics, I think it does teach phonics very well, but I think it moved at too quick of a pace for my child. And that's okay, that's just how my child did with his phonics skills and language arts skills. Because I think he's really thriving in the math area and loves math, and the reading doesn't come as intuitively and as naturally, and you know what, that's okay, because reading is a very foreign concept for the human brain. We have to literally teach ourselves. Just communicating, speech development is a natural concept, but actually reading is, we have to teach ourselves, and our brain has to work really hard on connecting the dots. But that was just my little spiel as a speech language pathologist. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, the phonics, he needed just a little more practice with that. And again, the spelling, I don't think they do a good job teaching spelling, and I don't want to add a spelling curriculum for him next year. I'll wait till 2nd grade when he's a 2nd grader. Okay, I did like the literature from this curriculum. The grammar and punctuation, I do think it's appropriate for a kindergarten level. I think it's right on target. And the art appreciation, they do have some beautiful pictures in here. Like, that's the thing about this, the Good and the Beautiful. It has beautiful pictures, and I appreciate that. You guys, I'm probably forgetting something. I'm probably forgetting some of the curriculum that we did along the way, but overall, for my kindergartner and my 2nd grader who are now moving on to 3rd grade and 1st grade. We had a great year. We learned a lot. Day in, day out, my boys worked so hard, and yes, there were days that were harder than others. Some days were easier than others, but overall, it went with the flow. We kept up every single day doing the work that needed to be done and staying on top of our school so that we didn't fall behind or, get lost in some of the curriculum. So I'm so proud of my boys, and they worked so hard this year on completing all of this curriculum. So yeah, let me know how your curriculum wrap-ups went. Let me know if you agree with any of my reviews on this curriculum, or if you completely disagree. And you know what, that's okay, because the reason we homeschool is because some curriculum works for some children, some curriculum doesn't work for some children, and it's okay. If it works for me, great. If it works for you, that's great too. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope wherever you are having a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. Bye.